So yeah, no, it's not really a wake-up call this week. It's more like the day after call. So I'm going to talk to people that were at Oklahoma and find out what they thought of the dog show. Okay, no, you weren't there. Okay, talk to you. Bye-bye. Hi, it's the day after with Will Alexander. Let's catch Bill driving home. Bill McFadden.
Hi, Will.
Hi, Bill.
Is this morning already?
No, this is the drive home call.
Oh, okay.
How's everybody?
We're good. We're tired.
I bet. Yeah. And how was the overall impression of the weekend?
I thought they did a really good job. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I'm just getting some reflection from the sun. That's all right.
I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think everybody would wear their masks I think everybody really respected the requirements they have. The social distancing, I'm sure if somebody had a tape measure, not everybody was 6 feet apart at all times, but it was really a beautiful facility. It was easy to be kind of spread out. We had a great spot with lots of room. I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh, good. And you had a good weekend?
Pardon me?
Did you have a good weekend?
Pretty good weekend. Yeah, it could have been better. Is this being taped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I lost you.
Oops. It wasn't, we didn't come here because we thought it was judges that were good for particular dogs. We just came. So we did okay considering.
Good.
It was like a grab bag.
Oh, for sure, and that's everybody's feeling before the weekend is they just want to get back and show their dogs. So
Right. So, but no, I thought it was good. I just thought there would be some people that would be a little bit more rebellious about any kind of rules, and really, I think everybody did pretty good. Now,
okay.
If you want a different opinion, Kate's sitting right next to me. Kate wants to keep it positive. I don't know. I can't imagine that it could have been that much better than it was. And I was very impressed by the work not only that Onofrio did, but
I lost you again.
A second. The work that Onofrio did, and also the Southern Handlers Guild, or Handlers Charity. The local handlers down here, they really worked hard, and they all looked just beat up.
Lost you again, man.
But they worked really hard, and I just thought it was. I felt really good about it. I think everybody, depending on the way things go, you got to be careful. You got to make decisions based on your health and your beliefs and all that.
Well, good.
Oh, some of the things, like they did, the first 2 days, the armbands were just laid out on a table outside the ring, and you went up and got your armband yourself, and it was fantastic.
Oh, good.
You could still kind of peruse and see there's still 4, whatever, that haven't picked up, so you could kind of have an idea of how many more. We're worried that without a steward task, how many picked up, it would be hard to estimate times, but it worked out really well. They had entrances and exits, and that really worked well, so there wasn't as much congestion outside the ring. They spaced off in the rings. They had kind of 6-foot marks for you to keep your dog in between, which people just have to be reminded they're being 6 feet apart from each other.
I'm getting some glare on your face, Bill. Can you tilt your phone a bit?
Sorry.
There we go.
You're in your 6-foot box, but you could be standing right next to the person in the 6-foot box right next to you.
Yeah.
So you had to keep, people, you had to keep, it's just our nature to want to get close.
Oh, for sure.
Talk to each other.
Overall positive experience, though?
Yeah, I thought so.
Good.
And I know there's a lot of people that weren't happy about the show going on, and I think even the people. I mean, Kate was very against coming to the show, but I think that it went better than what she was expecting.
Oh, good.
I don't want to speak for her, but her attitude improved dramatically. I'm not going right.
All right.
So, anyhow, I thought it was good, and I hope everybody's safe and gets home and make sure everything's disinfected and all that kind of stuff. But,
exactly. All right.
I felt safe as I've ever felt in a grocery store or in Lowe's during this whole thing. So.
Okay. Well, I won't distract you any longer. You get home safe, okay?
Okay.
I really appreciate your time, Bill. Be careful driving home. My best to everybody. Then we have Aaron Wilkerson. He's playing it safe, too. Good boy, Aaron. There you are. All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, man. Oh.
Yes, Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Just tilt your phone so I can see you. All I can see is your eyes right now, dude. There we go. You're not driving, so you're all good, right?
Yeah, I actually was just stopping to get over in the passenger seat so I could talk to you.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So, how are you, man?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm good. How was first weekend back?
It was really well. Actually, everything went really good. Everybody, was keeping their distance, and the procedure of the rings was, I thought, was rather interesting, and it actually went really well. It didn't have a lot of congestion on the entrance to where everybody would normally go in and out. There was more of, two options to do, and there was lots of room. So I thought it went really well.
So it was a positive experience then.
Yeah, it definitely was a positive experience, but it was different. It was different, they give you options. They give you options. They were giving, it was very positive. I thought it all went very well.
Oh, good, excellent. And there was no issues with anybody. Everybody seemed to follow the rules fine, and there was no rebellions or anything or riots.
No, it was nice. It was a very nice weekend.
Good.
I may be losing you a little bit. I'm going in and out of the mountains on 40, so.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of Dub's disease here, like the old movies, the old Godzilla movies. All right, any final thoughts on anything that can be improved on the weekend? What do you think?
Yes, I did hear that question. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
No, Will, actually, they tried the last 2 days. They tried to do a different procedure with the armbands, and which means you had to go to different bands for the whole day.
Yeah.
And that can pick up your whole slew of arm. That was a little difficult. The first 2 days was much better. They had the armbands laid out at the steward's table, and you could just go and pick your armbands up and didn't even have to say anything to anybody. So that worked out very well. To answer your question, I don't think they could have done anything better to make that show go so smooth.
Oh, good. That's a good thing then. All right. I'm losing you a bit, so I'm going to let you go. Be careful driving home, and I'm sure I'll see you down the road somewhere, brother.
Okay. All right, Will. Take care of yourself, brother.
Be safe.
Yes, sir. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Couldn't get Tabitha until she got home. So here's Tabatha Buckley Bettis and her views on the show. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm sensational.
You look great.
Hey, so do you. Looks
Oh,
like you've been working today.
I have been actually. Yes. I'm a little bit tired. So, Oklahoma. How did that go?
It was exceptionally hot, but apart from that, it was wonderful to get back to a dog show.
Yeah. How did it?
Um,
How was it received?
Everybody that was there did everything possible to make it work and go forward, and we tried everything that they were going to suggest, and I really didn't see any hitches or anything that really went wrong, and I think everybody felt very safe and very comfortable.
Oh, excellent. So it was very positive then.
Exceptionally positive, and I think the joy of a lot of people to be able to be working with their dogs and seeing people that they know and having some normalcy in their life was pretty exciting.
I'm sure just getting back and showing our dogs was the most fun of the weekend. So. I bet there's some sore backs though after the first weekend back.
Backs, legs, anything that wasn't used to running around in left-hand circles, I think was a little stiff yesterday.
Yeah. So any improvements that you could see that you would think should be done?
Well, we tried different ways of picking armbands up because of trying to stop the contact. The easiest way that I think that we found picking up armbands instead of picking up a catalogue, finding your number, was a lot of people either bought their own catalogues or they were sent their numbers before the show, what number they actually were. So you could just walk up to the table, pick up your number, walk off. It was all good. There wasn't lining up. There wasn't somebody trying to collect a number that was showing 5 hours later. It was all very easy. They tried a couple of other ways where they had people sitting at tables handing out armbands. That was really, it worked, but it took a lot of time and there weren't absentees being marked in the books either. So, and then on one of the other days, they had put all the handlers' numbers in one envelope, and so you just went up and asked for your name and got your envelope. That was a little, again, really consuming for manpower, and wasn't always correct either, because if you had a ringside pickup that you were an agent for or something, your number wasn't in there. Owners that were showing some of their dogs, or maybe some co-owned ones, and the co-owned ones had the co-owner's name first. They couldn't get those numbers. It took a lot to kind of figure it out. So the easiest way with that one, I think we found, was just picking them straight up off the table.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, they had like a 6-foot gap between the gates and where you're meant to be standing, so that you kind of, if you had to run from one end to the other, you could quite quickly because there was no one in your way. And you could get in and out of the gates really easily without there being a crowd or anybody waiting for the next class, which was also good. They had X marks the spot of where you meant to stand. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Who was that masked man?
He's going back to mowing the lawn. The funniest thing was they had arrows with directions, but I think we kind of figured out we go around to the left. But and outside the ring before the groups, they had X's every 6 feet. You know, by the last day, it was like if you didn't get on an X, I think it was like musical chairs, you're automatically out.
Jesus.
You know, it was just trying different things. The grooming had big gaps in the aisles, which was great. Lots of room, and the crates backing on was basically 6 feet between the crates, so you weren't losing a lot of room in your grooming areas that way.
Now, did they allow hair dryers?
They did allow hair dryers, no big turbo dryers or anything, but handheld dryers they did allow, which was good. But with the hair dryers, you didn't seem to have all the hair and all the product that's normally blowing around to set up. It wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And you didn't, you're not sort of grooming along and next minute your hair's like this, or the person behind you is blow drying a dog and they've hit you with the dryer. With the hand nails, it really didn't bother anyone, and I didn't believe it caused a lot of turbulence in the area.
Oh, good. What about the judges? How do the judges seem?
The judges were good. They had their tables behind them with their sanitizer. They put the ribbons, one of the days they had the ribbons laid out on their table, another day they had them laid out just outside the ring. So as you walked along, you just grabbed your ribbon and left, which would be, I think that would work fine as long as there was somebody there that knew what ribbons you were meant to be taking. For an absolute new person that might have got, I don't know, a select or something, but didn't realize which ribbon was theirs, as long as people are kind of looking out for them a little bit, I think that will work. But yeah, you could kind of walk out and go, well, I think I got this free, I'll just take it. No. But no, they did that with the ribbons, the judges. I mean, they did get close like a normal exam, which was fantastic because the dogs were used to it. But they all were wearing masks. They were using hand sanitizer. None of the dogs really seemed affected by the masks at all.
That was my next question. Good.
Yeah, no, I had one on the first day, but she's she's only 15 months old. She's very young for a special. She kind of did this. And I could not bite the judge, do anything silly. That'd be great. And by day 2, she was like, whatever. Everybody here is wearing a mask. Everything's fine. So I don't think that the mask with the judges would be a big problem. I don't think the judges felt uncomfortable where they put the XLs enough space that if they needed to back up. And of course, they're in the middle of the ring a lot as well. So they have that space around them when they're there. Setting up and packing up, they had the big doors open. You just it was a normal setup. You know, you're not really close to anyone when you're setting up anyway. You're dragging your dolly in, and the thing was wearing masks when you're actually doing something physical like that. By the time you got outside, you're like, it's when we figured out how unfit we really are.
Yeah, like sure, I bet. Well, that sounds like it was positive then. Good.
Lots of positive. Onofrio did everything that they could. Even on the last day, I think they were short a couple of stewards. They had a couple of their people even stewarding. They were doing everything to make sure that it ran smoothly. They had people from other clubs there. I do know they invited the other superintendents if they wanted to come down and have a look. They did do a few videos to start with, but then we tended to have a few keyboard warriors from home that weren't even there, saying some pretty negative things, and there was no need. You know, unless you're there, it's a very different situation than seeing something on Facebook, and what you always see on Facebook may not actually be the case. Like if you see somebody that's got their mask down here, it might be the fact that they've just stopped running and they're taking a really deep breath and putting it back on. It could be that it fell off because it wasn't tight enough, because I don't think these masks are actually designed for running. So
well, I thought they were, sorry about that, I thought they weren't supposed to wear them while they were moving. I thought that was the rule.
You could take them down while you ran.
Yeah.
But if you've got your hands full with a piece of bait and a dog, or you're doing, you know, it's very hard to take it down and then position it, because it kind of takes 2 hands to put it back on.
Sure, okay.
So a lot of people were just running with them on, and then when you got to the end of the line and you have your spot, your X on the ground, and no one's near you, you know, when you stop, you're going to go...
Take a breath, yeah.
A couple.
The new normal.
But I think if you're doing that without masks, we'd be taking a few big steps or breaths at the end of it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it was good. I mean, the masks was unusual. It wasn't like they were horrid, you couldn't wear them. It was just unusual, and people with glasses trying to figure out the best place to put them so their glasses didn't steam up.
Yeah, because they do. When I wear my glasses, they steam up with masks. Like going through Home Depot.
But it's just trying to figure it out. It's all new. We can't be more thankful for Onofrio for putting this show on, or for AKC for actually passing it and letting it go through. I don't think any individual club wanted to be the first club to go out there and see what happened. These guys put their big girl pants on and did that. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was easier, and after the first day, it was just like back to normal. It really was back to normal. and everyone was happy to be there and grateful. The judges looked good. We even had judges that were just there for the last day, and even they were excited to get back. I thought for a moment there that one of them was a Dallas cheerleader. I was like, "Whoa, we're back!" It was just, it was great. I mean, everybody tried the best they could to, if you dropped your mask to have a drink and you hadn't quite got to put it back up, people were politely going, "Look at the nose," and trying to remind you, because occasionally, when you just come out of the ring and you're trying to get a drink or eat, sometimes you don't put it back up as quick as you should. But it wasn't like getting yelled at that like you're a naughty little kid, and it was just like, can you put it back up? And there wasn't any fights or anybody going, "It's my civil right, I don't have to." Everybody was doing everything they could to make it come off smoothly. Perfect. And I can't wait for the next one. I think in another 3.5 weeks we've got 2 more shows, and then another one the following week in Ohio, and then a couple more the following week. And I think once we start getting into September, October, we'll actually have choices.
Oh, good. Wouldn't
that
be exciting?
Show in the country.
Yeah.
It's almost like Westminster. Who gets in? Entries are open, entries are closed, and we're done.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if I'll be seeing you guys soon. They're talking about closing the border for the year, so.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Well, all the horse shows have been back for over a month before we even thought about it. I believe the cat shows are coming back in a month or so. Other organizations that do this are coming back, and it's not like you can sit in your home forever.
Right.
The people that think that that's possible, it's not. Human beings are not designed to sit isolated. It's not good for their mental health.
No.
It's not good for a lot of things. So I think that it's a real big booster for everybody mentally, because I've been really worried about people during this from that angle, because the people that sit at home and they're on their own, it's not a nice thing to be doing.
It's lonely, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Okay. Well, I won't keep you. Thank you so much for taking my call, and I'll pass all that news, all that positivity.
Lots of positivity, and we can't wait for the next one. So you take care and enjoy Canada up there, okay. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, appreciate it. And a couple of busy girls, Laura King and Robin Novack, with some good views in the show as well. Hi, girls. How are you today?
We're good. How are you? Good to see you again.
It's great to see you. All of you. How was your weekend? I know you had a good weekend with the new dog, with the new bitch, but how was your weekend?
It went really well. It was great. Yep. I think that everybody followed the rules really well. I think it went very smoothly. Everybody got along. I think actually it would be good. We would be remiss in not saying a huge shout out should go to Onofrio and to that Southern Handlers charity program, because they worked their butts off to make this happen, and it really went well.
Oh, great.
More so than I would have ever expected. I was really impressed, I have to say.
Well, good.
They deserve huge kudos. Yeah.
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 Was it great just to get back to it and see everybody and show your dogs?
It was. Robin had some difficulty with the hugging, but
I'm going to be the same way. I just know
it. I was fine.
I like to hug, so.
Yeah.
All right.
But she's right. People were really respectful of the rules, and initially, some people had to be reminded about the keeping the mask up all the time and the keeping the social distancing. But people were really respectful of it, and I think it did go off really well.
Oh, good.
So that was nice. They had changed the rules. Initially, they were only going to require masks the first day, and then for whatever reason, they thought better of it, and masks were required at all times inside the building, and I think that was perfectly fine and much easier than I expected.
Everybody got used to it after a while. It was fine.
Oh, before you know it, they're matching their masks to their outfits and stuff. So
several people. They marked all of the grooming off really well, so everybody knew how far away to stay from the next setup, and they had paint on the dirt so that they had a 6 feet increments in between in the ring, so you knew how far away to stay, and so you just stayed in your box. Everybody followed those rules really well. They had a entrance to go into the ring, and then an entrance to go out of the ring, so you went in one way and out another, so there was no congestion.
How did the judges seem? How did the judges seem with the masks, and were they okay with it?
They all seemed fine. There were a few dogs. There was one judge in particular who wore a mask that was heavily decorated, for lack of a better word.
Designer masks.
Yeah, it had some accessories, some appendages too, and there were a few dogs that were
Reacted to that.
that were a little surprised by that. But for the most part, I didn't think the dogs really cared too much, and the judges didn't seem to care much either. I will say that, obviously during the exam, the social distancing was a little hard to maintain, but most of them were really good about, like, they stood back to see the bites and then just sort of did the exam, cursory exam. And
Did they let you hold on, like say with the Springer? Did they let you hold on to both ends of the dog?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. See, I heard some people worrying about having to let go of their dog for the judge to examine them, but I thought that's not going to happen.
Nobody there requested anything differently from the normal presentation.
Oh, good.
There was none of that. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen, but nobody on that panel.
Oh, it's bound to happen at some point.
Get back off. Yeah, of course it is. But nobody there was like, back off and get away. It was all fine.
Now, there was some video being done the first day, or some Facebook Live, and then they stopped that. And I understand they stopped that because of the negative comments that were coming in from people watching.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, there is a provision within the AKC, because the AKC does that Facebook Live, or does their live AKC TV Live or whatever now. And so now they do have the right to all video copyrights or whatever. And so I think that's the rule that they use in order to get the people to stop with the Facebook Live. But I do believe that there was twofold, because it did keep everybody calmed down, that the people at home were making judgments or whatever about how the shows went. And unless you were there and saw how smoothly and easily it went, and I think that people came and showed their dogs and went home. So I don't think that, or went back to their hotels or whatever, so there wasn't a big, huge crowd and gatherings of people there. I think people were very conscious of that. The venue had stadium seating, so people could go up and watch the dog show if they wanted to, and spread themselves thin, so that there wasn't any gatherings up there as well.
Okay. You're sliding right a bit, Rodney. Every once in a while, there we go. What about this? What about setting up? How was it when you were unloading?
It was good. They did a really good job with. There were 2 or 3 different entrances that you could use to get into the venue. And I don't know, to be clear, if you saw a picture of it at all, it's a giant horse arena, packed dirt floor, and the floor was great.
Yeah.
They were able to spread out the grooming areas and set them up such that you could maintain the distancing there. I mean, the unloading is brutal as always, because it was 1,000,000 degrees and that kind of thing. But it wasn't. I mean, I think it went really pretty smoothly.
It wasn't like a land rush of people trying to get in. It went very respectfully and smoothly. So we didn't notice any problems with that either.
The
other thing.
So let's hope it stays that way. So you were talking about the ring setup. Describe that for me again. And you were also earlier talking about the groups, how they brought you in, and then they made a cut of half of you. Where did they make you go?
Just outside the ring there. There's that 10-foot area to get away, and then there was another maybe 10-foot area that was before you got to the grooming area, so you could gather there.
Oh, okay.
And some people went back to their setups.
Yeah.
Also.
You had some time for that.
A lot of the groups were pretty large, so there was quite a bit of time, So we could kind of, and the way that they had it set up, you could see the ring from most everybody's setups. So you could go back up there when it was done.
Right. So the ring setup, the way they did it, which I had initially been a little surprised by, but it turned out to be perfect. Because of the venue, they were able to run I think it was 8 or 9 rings down just one side of the pavilion, so that the back side of the ring was the wall that went up into the bleachers, and then the front side of the ring, they had this aisle that I think was about 10 feet marked off that you couldn't gather in there either. And by doing that, they managed to keep the rings isolated from the rest of the dog show, so that there wasn't a whole bunch of social gathering, and you didn't have to worry about people standing on the perimeter being too close to the people inside the ring as well. They were concerned about that as well. So
They did the
she left. Okay.
They did the armbands different every day. Some days they had the armbands up at the rings. Another day they had them at the superintendent.
Which did you prefer?
Well, I don't know what would be easiest on the clubs. For us, it was easy to just go up to the ring. The armbands were all laid out on the table. You just picked out the ones you wanted and left.
Yeah.
By doing that, you also, going forward into what might be bigger entries, you could kind of keep a handle on what was showing up without having to bother the steward, because you could kind of count the numbers and see what was left. I particularly liked that way of doing it the best, because you could keep a handle on what has been picked up and what hasn't.
Now, did the number table become like the mints at a restaurant, where the people all handling all the numbers?
No, it actually didn't. It was faster, honestly. But obviously, at an outdoor venue, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are flying all over the place. But that way would require the least amount of staffing on the club's part. The one of the days they did it where they just had a table set up for each group, and in the morning you were supposed to go. I think that's how you do it in Canada, right? You just go and get your number in the morning, and
exactly.
But and maybe it would be easier there. I don't know, but here they had like 7 volunteers, and so then you had 7 tables that you had to go to, one for each group, to pick up your armband for the dogs in that group. And I thought that was maybe the least efficient way to do it. And then the last day they did it, I guess, like in Canada, where like everybody's were together. So it was by the owner's last name, or if you were a handler, you had a packet.
Sure, yeah.
And you could just go and get your packet, and the numbers were all in the packet.
That's a good idea too, I guess.
Yeah, and that worked out fine
side
as
of it,
well.
so.
Yeah. The easiest I thought for us was just going up to the ring and having them all laid out there, but I'm not sure that that's always going to be logistically possible. So, yeah. But either way, it still seemed to go faster. Like almost everything we did there seemed to make it go faster than the regular dog show.
But,
yeah.
Because there was less human interference, because we all know what we're doing.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah. And there was periodically stewards sitting outside the table making sure that people didn't go up to the ring and that they were going in the right entrance and out the correct entrance. So that, but it still seemed like they didn't need as many people, honestly.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So overall, it was a positive experience for you then.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to change or see changed?
The only thing, again, going forward, it's going to be tricky, and this is just a purely selfish thing, is the dryer situation.
Yeah.
The grooming situation, it could get to be tricky at some point. We negotiated it fine here, but the venue isn't always going to allow for that, and so that could be very tricky.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Like when I walk by your setup and see 20 soaking wet springers on the table, and I just veer right. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You can hear the alarm going off. No, don't come near. They also didn't allow fans. That was another thing. Although, I mean, the building was perfectly air conditioned. It wasn't a problem. But that could be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it could be an issue. I can see that.
Yeah, going forward.
I don't think that we got to talk about the ribbons either.
Oh, that might have.
Go ahead, yeah.
That was another thing that was actually very efficient. Either the ring steward or the judge, I think they did it differently a couple of days, but you didn't get your judge, the judge did not hand you your ribbon. They were laying out on a table, and after they were done marking their books, you just filed out of the ring and picked up your ribbon on the way. And that, there's less interaction there, obviously, then, and also it stops all the chit-chat, with the exchange. And, oh, yeah, you just gave this dog a best in show, or, yeah. You'll have the uncle's brother on the third removed side from the sister. So it eliminated all of that kind of...
I love those stories.
They kept keeping things moving
along.
And
Absolutely.
I was showing I won't even say what dog or what judge I was showing one time, and my competitor, the judge made a big contest out of me and a certain competitor, and ended up putting the dog I was showing up, and the other handler complained, saying, well, you gave his brother a best in show in Russia over 5,000 dogs. and he said, well, I have a sister, and she's very beautiful. Look at me, he said. So it was
Perfect.
Sorry, I just had to throw it. Made me remember it.
I hope that was John Reed's
Oh, it was funny. Anyway, I'm sorry, I interrupted. So nothing you would change then? Oh, photographer.
Did we talk about that?
I can't remember if we did or not.
I don't think we did. Anyway, so they would have the judges each come to the podium before the judging started and have their photos taken individually. And then during the day, there were no photos taken in the rings. So the photographer was never called to the ring. And if you wanted a photo made, then you went to the podium with your dog, and they took the picture, and then they just dropped the judge in later. So that eliminated all the social distancing there. And honestly, it made it move 1,000 times faster.
The judges liked it because they didn't have to listen to everybody's record.
Right.
They could just go in the morning and show up and do the pictures with the ribbons.
Way more efficient.
The handlers liked it. We could go over at our convenience and take the pictures. So that went really well.
Yeah, I think
slower judges got to have their lunch.
Right.
Yeah, well, that was it. They didn't, after every 5-minute break, they didn't have to, take 5 pictures. And
people that wanted to go home could, because they didn't have to wait for them to take a break. They got done, went over and took their picture and left if they wanted to. So many people I see are, when are they taking a break so I can get my photo so I can go home? They could go over and do it when they wanted to.
Yeah.
And it eliminated congestion at the podium as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
One judge gets there.
That's a good thing to go forward, no matter what. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think this photographer said that he would prefer to do it that way all the time now. So we'll see. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, girls. Well, it was good to see everybody. Did you enjoy that part?
You?
No, I don't mean me. I mean, at the show, was it good to see everybody?
Everybody as a whole.
Yeah. It was good to see everybody there too. That's true.
Good. But thank you. Good to see you too. Okay, excellent. Anything else you want to add before I sign?
No, I don't think so.
No? Well, I really appreciate your time. I know you had to juggle your time to talk to me, so I appreciate it. So I'm glad you got to it.
You're like a priority, Will.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
All right, girls. Take care. Miss you.
Miss you too. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was all interesting. It was all positive. It sounded great. So let's keep that up, guys. And if you like what we're doing here, let's make sure you press like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, we're sponsored by Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. And if you want to send me a message and find out what's going on, or you have any more questions for me, or any ideas for me, it's dogshowtips@gmail.com. And if you want to find out what's happening in Will's world, go to willalexander.net. Until next time, guys, stay safe.